Hi, hello. Today we're going to be talking about the 7-star Dragonite normal Tera raids. Dragonite is kind of complicated and knows a lot of moves, but I got 7 Pokemon that should work regardless of Dragonite's moves, and we're going to go over all 7 today. 7 is a lot, but you probably have some of these Pokemon already. Before we get to the 7 Pokemon, let's just talk about Dragonite. Dragonite has 2 different abilities, and since the last 7-star raid was the first raid that didn't use its hidden ability, which was Dondozo, it could either have Inner Focus or Multiscale. Inner Focus would prevent Intimidates. We're not bringing any Intimidators, but it would also prevent flinching. You can't flinch a 7-star raid boss, so that doesn't matter at all. You can't flinch any raid bosses. The other ability is Multiscale, and that's a little more complicated because technically the HP bar in Tera raids are, depending on how big the HP bar is, the HP bar is like 30 different HP bars. So this could matter a little bit where some moves might not do as much damage because Multiscale is in effect. We've seen this similar to how Eruption worked with Typhlosion. That being said, I could spend time explaining how complicated and how weird it is behind the scenes, but regardless of whether it has Inner Focus or Multiscale, it's not going to change any of our Pokemon choices or how we approach this raid. Dragonite has a really good attack stat of 134, but it also has a really decent special attack of 100. So while I do suspect that most of its moves will be physical, there will probably be at least 1 or 2 special type moves. Something like maybe a Draco Meteor that it might do off the bat, and then we'll never see it happen again. We've seen this with Charizard, and we've seen this happen with Sceptile, I believe. Actually, it uses a special type move and then switches back over to physical. As you can see, Dragonite has a lot of moves here. A lot. It gets really, really good type coverage, which actually makes planning for this raid a little more difficult. So I think this is one of the raids where I'll have to do a second video depending on its final moveset. But if you would like to see the moves that would stand out that worry us, on the physical side, we have Outrage, Earthquake, Extreme Speed. I think Extreme Speed is the given here for it to have. It is a priority move. It will go first. It will hit hard because of the normal type Tera. Low Kick actually has really good coverage for this raid, depending on what you bring. So keep in mind that. Aqua Tail is one of the stronger water physical moves it can learn. Wing Attack, Thunder Punch, Ice Spinner, Fire Punch, Brick Break, Body Slam, Iron Head, Stone Edge, Giga Impact. This is just really good coverage on Dragonite's part. On the special side, we do get Hurricane, which is a bit stronger than Wing Attack. We get Hyper Beam, Draco Meteor, what I just talked about, Hydro Pump, Fire Blast, Thunder, Blizzard, Focus Blast. Obviously, it can learn Thunderbolt, or actually, I don't know if it can learn Flamethrower. But I just took the strongest moves that it learns. If you're new here, I take the strongest moves. I calc them against the Pokemon we are building to make sure that we can survive. For example, if we could survive a Hydro Pump, that means we can survive a Surf. If we can survive a Thunder, it means we can survive a Thunderbolt. And then on the status side, we have Dragon Dance, which I think is probably a given here because it's a Dragon Pokemon. We do have Safeguard that would prevent against status conditions. We would like to burn Dragonite because its physical attack is so high. So Safeguard would make that a little bit tricky. I don't think we've seen a 7-star boss with Safeguard yet. Roost, which I don't actually expect. Leer could be a little annoying for sure. Rain Dance actually has really good synergy with Dragonite's moveset. It actually pairs really well with Hurricane and Thunder, although I don't see it being a Rain Dance setter. But just in general, Dragonite has good synergy with that. It does get Light Screen, and it also does get Mist. So I think the two maybe that we would take into consideration are these two. We can't really stop Safeguard besides just taunting it. And we can also just taunt for Dragon Dance as well, depending on where that is. Now, obviously, normal type Pokemon are weak to fighting, which most people's mind probably goes to a body press set. And while we do have body pressers here, we're going to start with Corviknight, which I don't think should be your body presser. We've seen a lot of body press Corviknights over the last couple months, and in my opinion, there are just better body pressers out there. And Corviknight's base defense is 105, whereas we have Pokemon like Carbink that has a defense of 150, and we have a Pokemon like Zamazenta that has a defense of 140. So if you're just going to go with a body presser, I think there are other options. There's a ton of other options. I've just picked 2 off the top of my head that we built, Carbink and Zamazenta. So I think there are just better body pressers out there, but because of Corviknight's typing and because of Corviknight's moveset, I think Corviknight is a really good support Pokemon here and not necessarily a body pressing Pokemon. It can do other things that will support a body pressing Pokemon standing next to you that the body press Pokemon can't do itself. For example, Screech. So what I would recommend on Corviknight is just a complete support build with Screech to lower the defense so those body pressers can do more damage, Reflect to protect you from the physical damage coming from Dragonite, Taunt to stop any safeguards or rain dances or dragon dances, and then Rock Smash. Rock Smash will let you fish for more defense drops when the raid shield goes up, because you can't Screech when the raid shield goes up. So this will just help accelerate the raid faster than just a Corviknight also trying to body press next to other body pressers. So that's what I would recommend. Corviknight's ability isn't specifically good here because Dragonite, I don't think, has any moves that can really lower our stats that we would bounce back at it, but Mirror Armor is the preferred ability. Really basic EVs for a lot of these Pokemon. Just 252 HP, 252 defense on that. But yeah, a lot of people have Corviknight. I think Light Clay to help the screens last longer. The other thing you could do, which I do like running on slower Pokemon, because Corviknight is a base 67 speed and Dragonite is base 80 speed, is to put the zoom lens on. The zoom lens will make it so Screech won't miss at all. Screech is 85% accurate, and it's really annoying when Screech misses. But I think you'll get a little more mileage out of the Light Clay, especially since if you do miss a Screech or not, stats are going to reset, and you're going to switch to Rock Smash anyways. So full support Corviknight to help any Zamazentas or any other body pressers you have standing next to you. Speaking of zoom lens, the next Pokemon I want to talk about is Torkoal. Torkoal does have the zoom lens, so he doesn't miss. But this is going to be another support Pokemon. So we're starting off with 2 support Pokemon. And Torkoal is going to have the same EVs, 252 HP, 252 defense. And we're actually going to go with a Clear Smog build on Torkoal. Now, we want to do Shell Armor. That's going to prevent against any critical hits. We also just don't want to set the Sun for Dragonite if Dragonite does have a Fire type move, because that would be really bad for Corviknight. So we don't want to set Sun, but we do want the Shell Armor ability so we're not getting crit. Now, this is where the burning comes in. So Torkoal has pretty much 3 jobs. The first job is to get burn on Dragonite. You can do that with Will-O-Wisp, and because Torkoal will have the zoom lens, Will-O-Wisp will not miss. And you can also use a move called Inferno, which has 50% accuracy, but will burn even when the raid shield goes up. Now, Zoom Lens will boost that accuracy more to make it more in line with a Will-O-Wisp without Zoom Lens. So think of Inferno like a Will-O-Wisp that Aaron Zhang would use in a match, and then hopefully you hit to get the burn. So the Will-O-Wisp will be used when the shield is not up, and then Inferno will be used when the shield is up. And the cool thing is Clear Smog will remove those Dragon Dances, but keep the burn on it. So we can control Dragonite's physical attack with these 2 moves, and then if it tries to boost its physical attack another way with Dragon Dance, we can just Clear Smog that away to keep the team safe. And then finally, we have Helping Hand, which if we've done everything correct, we're going to boost those body pressers standing next to us as we do our job there. And also, obviously, support Pokemon would be in charge of healing. So if you're playing a Corviknight or a Torkoal, you would be in charge of those heal cheers in between your move sets as a support Pokemon. So this should be really great with randoms because you have control of that Dragon Dance and you have control of that physical attack, which means Dragonite will do significantly less damage, and then your team will be able to survive. So Torkoal, pretty easy to play. And I think the Zoom Lens is a really underrated item in raids to increase your accuracy, because we just know for sure Dragonite will outspeed us, which means our Zoom Lens will always activate. All right, our next Pokemon is actually going to be Vigoroth with the Fighting Tera Type. With the Eviolite, this makes Vigoroth really bulky because it's not evolved into Slakoth. And this is more of a fun build that you can do. It's not going to do a lot of damage, but it is going to fit into teams. And if you don't have access to something like a Zamazenta, it's really early on in Paldea. But we're actually going to run Crush Claw, Chilling Water, Drain Punch, and Bulk Up. So obviously Dragonite is going to be weak to fighting. So Drain Punch will do super effective damage, will benefit from our same type attack bonus, but we will also be able to get health back. We can also control Dragonite's attack stat with Chilling Water. 1 or 2 Chilling Waters at the start of the raid should let your whole team set up very easily. And then also we have access to a move called Crush Claw. Crush Claw is very similar to the Rock Smash on Corviknight. It will have a 50% chance of lowering the target's defense by 1 stage. It does a little bit more damage than Rock Smash, also matches the same type attack bonus of Vigoroth. But we have 3 moves that we can use depending on the situation. If we're super healthy, we can switch to Crush Claw or Chilling Water. Both benefit your entire team. If we need a little bit more health, we can switch to Drain Punch. And finally, we have Bulk Up. I wouldn't recommend using Bulk Up until we know when stats are reset. I think at the very start of the raid, a Chilling Water is going to do more benefit to the entire team than you bulking up, because that's just for you. Chilling Water is for everyone, including you. So once we know that Dragonite is done resetting stats, and once you've gotten 1 or 2 Chilling Waters, you could probably bulk up once or twice for your Drain Punches to do more damage. I don't think a team of 4 Vigoroth would win, although that would be pretty cool. But I think 1 Vigoroth standing next to like 2 Body Pressers would be really, really beneficial to the team, just between the combination of Chilling Water and Crush Claw. My EV spread for this is a little more complicated than the last one, so I'm going to put that on the screen. I think all the EV spreads are going to be popping up on the screen. So that's the EVs I recommend for Vigoroth, but should be fun to play. Also, just really, really easy for anyone to build, since you can get Vigoroth in the base game. What you can't get in the base game is a new Pokemon, Archaludon, which is new with the DLC. It's a Steel Dragon Pokemon. We're going to go Fighting type Tera. We're going to give it the Shell Bell item. And this is going to be one of our body pressers. Just basic 252 HP, 252 defense. But the cool thing here, unlike the other body pressers I mentioned earlier, like Corviknight could be a body presser, or Carbink could be a body presser. Anytime Arch gets hit, it will actually increase its defense automatically because of its ability. So, like I said earlier, I don't think Corviknight's a great body presser, especially because 1, Arch has much higher defense than Corviknight. 2, Arch can get free defense boost where Corviknight has to manually do that. On top of that, Arch also gets access to Breaking Swipe. So just like Vigoroth's Chilling Water, we can control the physical attack of Dragonite as we build Tera. So we don't even have to Iron Defense. We can just keep spamming Breaking Swipe and let Dragonite build our defense for us, and then we can Terastallize and Body Press. It's a really, really cool combo, and I think as long as you have the DLC, or if you have even if you don't have DLC and somebody can trade you this Pokemon, I think this Pokemon is really great for this raid in particular, regardless of the moveset that Dragonite ends up having. And of course, you have Iron Defense to top yourself off, but using Breaking Swipe to build a Tera and let Dragonite increase your defense, great. Also gets access to Reflect, beneficial to the entire team if no one else can Reflect. If you don't have a Corviknight standing next to you, you can set your own Reflect. But the ability, Body Press, High Defense, Shell Bell, a really great option for a Pokemon that isn't a legendary Pokemon. Sinistcha is more of a support Pokemon. I think you only definitely need 1 on the team here, but it does really great here. It can't get hit by extreme speed until you Terastallize, and by the time you Terastallize, everything will probably be set up. But Sinistcha is a different way to burn Dragonite that isn't Torkoal. So Machagacha has the ability, 30% chance to burn, also will heal you. Strength Sap will lower Dragonite's attack, just like Chilling Water. The only downside here is Strength Sap is a status type move, so you can't use it once the shield is up. Life Dew to heal your entire team, which is great and super helpful, and then Reflect. So ideally, you probably open up with a Reflect. You probably Strength Sap once or twice before the shield goes up, and then you're going to be fishing for burn and then healing in between. It's super helpful for a lot of raids, but should be really, really solid here. as a support Pokemon against Dragonite. And finally, our best body presser that you can use is Zamazenta. Body Press, Snarl, Iron Defense, Reflect, 252 HP, 252 Defense. You probably won't need to use Snarl at all, but you don't really need a fourth move, so that's why Snarl is there. If Dragonite has 1 or 2 special attacks, then sure, yeah, you can use Snarl, but you're pretty much going to set Reflect for your team, you're going to Iron Defense, and then you're going to Body Press. Really, really straightforward. While I do think 4 Zamazentas could easily win this raid, I think the raid would go incredibly more quickly if a Vigoroth or a Corviknight is there to Screech or to help Reflect or to help lower that defense so you can do even more damage with your Body Press. But I think between Zamazenta and Arch, those are going to be your 2 best body pressers, just for pure damage and just helpfulness for the raid. Now, I know what you're thinking. What about Iron Hands? You were probably watching this whole video, or you just like skip through the timestamps and were like, what about Iron Hands? Iron Hands actually does really good here. And I already built an Iron Hands. I made a whole video about it called the best Iron Hands build you can do. And it's the same exact Iron Hands. It's the best Iron Hands build you can do. It is the scope lens Iron Hands that will rely on focus energy to always critical hit, which means that every time you Drain Punch, you will get more health back from your Drain Punch versus using a Shell Bell or versus using a Big Root, because Big Root works with Drain Punch. I made a whole video with numbers and stats of why this is the best Iron Hands and why every Iron Hands should be running Scope Lens and Focus Energy together, because Focus Energy cannot be reset at all. And you can also boost yourself and other Iron Hands with Electric Terrain as well. So I did a whole video about that. It's going to be the same Iron Hands in that video. This Iron Hands works really well standing next to a Vigoroth, standing next to a Torkoal, standing next to a Corviknight with Screech. So I do actually think Iron Hands will be good for this raid. The move that would be most threatening to Iron Hands would be Earthquake, but because you're always critting with your Drain Punch, you will be able to get health back to survive that Earthquake, especially if somebody puts up a Reflect. Then you're even more safe and better behind a Reflect. A lot of Pokemon are. So that's it. Those are the 7 Pokemon. Once we get Dragonite's moveset finalized, when the raid comes out, there will be probably way more Pokemon that can work out. It's just we have to wait for that final moveset. But I think if you want to build early, or specifically with this Iron Hands, if you don't have this Iron Hands, I would recommend watching my other video for the EV spread and the in-depth about why this Iron Hands is the best Iron Hands. Go do that too. Otherwise, if you need help with Dragonite when it drops, or if you just want to play with other people that know what they're doing, if you want to grind out Dragonite for whatever it's dropping, Herba Mystica, vitamins, whatnot, you can come over to our Twitch streams. We'll be streaming that the Thursday night it drops. And you can also join our Discord if you can't make it to the Twitch. In the Discord, we'll be able to help you with getting your Dragonite as well. That's it. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Thank you for watching. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.